one of the things that I shared with them is that when you break down and understand how we perform at the highest levels, where do we have to be in, what are the things that matter the most? And one of the most powerful books for me that helped me kind of get on this path to be able to really pay attention to it. There were really two, but number one was The Power of Full Engagement by Tony Schwartz. And you don't have to read the book. You can geek out on it if you want. But what they talked about is the work with professional tennis players. And think about it, from a tennis standpoint. I don't play tennis, never have, but I get the understanding of just watching those athletes, how you have to be on and then you're off. And how do you recover? Then you got to get back on. And so you're just always in these bursts. And so they took the work with the tennis players and then they're like, okay, hey, do we have something here? And let's take it to corporate America. Let's take it into the working with executives. And they found the same thing. And this also comes into, for those of you that follow Coach Burt, talking about igniting the prey drive. And this is something that has to be reignited every day, but it falls around these 4 buckets. And the 4 buckets are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Spiritual, not in form of religion. And so understanding what is the most important one that drives the others, not the most important, but the one that helps us with the sustainability for the others is the physical. So what we have to do on the physical side of things, and this is what they talk about, is that we have to do things to get stronger every day. And what is that resistance training? And what are we doing to get strong, building some type of strength? And so this is one of the things that I'm dealing with my dad is, as we get older, there's certain things that we have to focus on, that we have to maintain strength in, to where we can kind of protect ourselves. And one of the things is our ability to step down. So part of your fitness regimen, part of your strength training, make sure you're doing things to where you have that stability. When you step down, you don't have the wobble, to where you can potentially take a digger and hurt yourself. The other thing is grip strength, right? So think about it. When you fall, what is the first thing you do, right? And so as we get older, we go to catch ourselves, and that's where, broken wrist and things happen. And, like I said, as experiencing this with my dad, my dad took a step down and fell and went on his knee, which broke his hip and has led to, other issues. However, if he had had some type of resistance strength training to be able to build that strength stepping down, that would have helped him. And then the other thing is grip strength. And, one of the best exercises for grip strength is just find a bar to where you can hang from and just hang. And if you can build that up over time, right? Like, hey guys, I'm not the strongest, but pretty damn fit, right? And the first time I did that exercise, I had like 54 seconds. I was like, what is going on here? Right. So I got to get my grip strength back up. I got to get stronger. And so focus on the physical. Also with the physical things to build that up goes back to nutrition, right? Pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies, and then also prioritize sleep. I know as I've gotten older, I've had to prioritize more sleep, and also on the endurance side of things, I know. And my sweet spot, everybody's a little bit different. I know for me, it's about 7 hours. I mean, I can operate for less, but not sustainable. And that's what we're trying to build, right? We're trying to build sustainability. And so the physical component is super, super critical. The next component is on the mental side of things, and how we combat in not only putting the right things into our mind, but in reading that helps, but also having some type of mindfulness practice, whatever that mindfulness for you. It's either, could be silence, could be prayer, could be a full-on meditation, could be some type of mindfulness guided meditation. For me, I've been on the Headspace app. I'm almost 30,000 minutes. Average duration is 10 to 11 minutes. Do the math. I've been on that for years. And I can directly point to that mindfulness practice has helped me in ways that I can't even quantify. And so what type of mindfulness practice are you having to protect, and rejuvenate, our mental capacity? I think too, some concepts like the gap in the gain. If you guys have not read The Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan, whatever you're reading, put down and read that book right now. It's one of the most powerful concepts that you can grasp to put into your tool belt. See, I believe we all have tool belts, that we need to have tools that we carry with us at any given time. And the gap in the gain concept is a tool that you need to have on you at any given time. It's like I said, it's my number one book recommendation. I cannot stress it enough to understand that concept, because we tend to fall into the gap too much, and we need to stay in the gain so we can keep progressing and moving our lives forward in the direction that I know you guys want to go in. You wouldn't be listening to this conversation or watching this stream if you didn't want to level up your life. You just need some tools to help you get there. And the gap in the gain is probably one of the most powerful concepts to help you do that. So back to our 4 buckets, and we have the physical, the mental. The next is the emotional. And what are we doing to be able to rejuvenate our emotions? So think about this. If you've been emotionally spent, yet you go for a walk, how do you feel afterwards? See, it's the cardio that we need to have into our lives to help us rejuvenate the emotions. And you need to build that in. And so however that works for you, right? For me, whatever, getting on the bike, going for a run, getting in the pool, that's the recharge. We're looking for rejuvenation to push these buckets to the top, to where they're performing at the top of those buckets. And then the last bucket is the spiritual. And like I said, not meant in religion. Spiritual meaning, do you know what your values are, and are you living in alignment to them? And I always like to joke, you ladies listening in, you have a built-in bullshit detector. And so think about that. If you've ever been around another human being and you're like, something's off with that person. I don't know what it is, but something's off. And what's off is the energy they're putting out, because they're not living in alignment to who they are. Us guys, we can uncover it. It just takes a little bit more of awareness, a little bit more to kind of pay attention to. But you ladies, it's just instinctive, right? You just have it. And it goes back to, caveman days, and, just women have to be, memory and have to just sense things. Whereas us guys, we'll just fight through it. And, you ladies have to be a little more instinctive. So knowing what your values are, right? So when we talk about building the vision for our business, building the vision for our life, vision is of 3 things. See, our vision is, what is that big, hairy, audacious goal we're after? Then what is our purpose, right? What is that driving force for your business? What is it? What's that internal why maybe for you? But what drives it and leads it, and this leads everything, is what are our core values? What are the shoulds and should nots in our life? What are those decision-making filters? And that's what's the most important. You look at these 4 buckets of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. The physical allows the sustainability, but the most important one is the spiritual. Knowing who you are at your core, and are you living in alignment to that? Are you setting your goals in alignment to those values or not? And so if you're not where you want to be in your life, I would take a hard look at your values. And are you living in alignment to them, or are you not? And that's where you have to start, is getting real clear on those. And, so that book helped me really unpack the power and understand that I've got to have these activities in my life if I want my life to continue to progress. And full engagement, right? That's the name of the book. Fully engaged. I have to be at the peak of all of these buckets. And what really helped me kind of put it all together is Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. And so the Miracle Morning, what Hal has in there, he has his savers. So if you just implement the savers into your life, it'll cover all of the things out of those 4 buckets. And the savers stand for silence, which is our mindfulness practice, right? Helps the mental. A is affirmations. And see, I believe what we say out loud, we hear, and what we hear creeps into our subconscious. That's why the affirmations are so important. I definitely a Goggins fan, and, the accountability mirror. So in the bathroom right here, right around from the office, that's my accountability mirror. And, there's only one Goggins, right? He gets off on the negativity. That's what drives him. And I'm like, I need some more positive. So I took the negative, put the I ams in a positive there. And so being able to have those affirmations, you see them and you say them every day. One of the things that I want to share with you guys, and this was Ed Milet shared this with us, is that this device right here, do you know how many times you look at this on a daily basis? The study that he shared was anywhere from 80 to 400 times a day you look at this device. So let me ask you, something that you're going to look at 80 to 400 times, how can you make this more impactful for you? So for me, you can have your screen, and then when you unlock it, you have another screen. And so my affirmations are on my screen. I see them every day. I've seen some people that have created the V in Savers, which is their visualization, their visual vision board, and they take a picture of it. And so they look at their vision board 80 to 400 times every day. You have something that you're looking at. Why don't you make it more useful, more impactful for you? And so the affirmations and the visualization, and with the visualization, what that does is that helps us ignite our reticular activator. And Ed Milet talks about this. It's in his new book. He likens it to the matrix. And he says, we all have our own matrix that we live in.